Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Penn from the creativepenn.com and today I'm here with Simon Scott. Hi Simon.
Hi Joanna, how you doing?
Great to have you on the show. So just a quick introduction. Simon is the founder of Push Entertainment, working with large entertainment brands on marketing and customer loyalty. And we met at the Future Book Conference, the publishing conference last year, and I wanted to ask Simon a few questions. So Simon, first up, just give us a little more of an idea. What does Push Entertainment do?
Okay. So we're a loyalty marketing company. We've got a suite of online tools that the major record companies use to attract fans, to retain fans, to generate more revenue from their fans. Additionally, we have our own merchandising business that we use for our own business to test what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Which is amazing, and that's why I wanted to talk to you. So attract fans, retain fans, generate revenue from fans. Exactly what authors want to do as well. So I wondered if you could just start by giving us a bit of a thing around, that attracting fans. How can authors, artists attract fans?
I mean, the main challenge is, I always say, is to get people to understand that no one really cares. And I think that's the starting point, really. And when you think about it, when you look about how many books... I've read about 200 books probably in the last sort of 10 years. I read about 20 books a year. How many of those books do I really care about? 2, 3, maybe Game of Thrones as a series. I really care about. I really, it's left something on me. And when you start with that point of view, then you understand that the job that you've got to do is a little bit different to assuming that everyone cares. So the first thing that we do is we sort of break the marketplace down into 3 segments. You've got the 5% of the people who are fanatical fans. They're always going to care. They're probably more damaged than they're worth in a weird way because they're so divorced from the other 95%. So although their point of view is something which is important, it's kind of a warped point of view. But they're there and they have their place. Yeah. You've then got 50% of the people who are never going to care. So they're the ones who bought the book, they never finished it, they saw the cover, but it wasn't quite the love story they thought it was, they heard about it on Richard and Judy, but they bought the wrong book. Yeah, there's lots of that goes on, yeah? And so we think the key people are those 45% who we say have got the propensity to be a fan. Yeah, they've got the propensity to buy more. So we kind of do everything thinking about those sorts of people. And then, so that's kind of like our rule number 1. Rule number 2 is to really to understand that those people are very unlikely to respond to one big event. Right. Because do I? You don't, yeah? What you actually respond is you respond to a series of smaller events that build up to, at some point, you've got the tipping point and you go, that's what I'm going to do.
And when you say events, do you mean kind of prods?
Prods is a really good word. Prods are really good. Just a prod.
Yeah, not like an event as in a live event.
No, well, I think that's probably the worst thing that you can do. Yeah. Because you build up all of your hopes that something great is going to happen.
Yeah, like a book launch is a bad event, whereas prods are like some content, maybe, or a short story, or a short story,
or if you do, if you do Google remarketing, we then see in the picture cover in the Google remarket, campaign. If it was an email out, if it was you work out that you've got a small advert in a specialist magazine or something that crosses over, like True Crime Monthly. I assume there's a magazine called True Crime Monthly.
Loads of them.
There's loads of them. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Got a little lad in that, and they see that.
So is that the 7 times kind of rule?
7 times is what the DMA say.
Right.
Yeah, people have got to be exposed. Well, that was the last survey. It's about 3 or 4 years old now. But people have got to be exposed 7 times before they'll make a buying decision. Yeah. So now the difficulty with all of that is, if you're reporting to a boss, that's a pretty difficult message to get across. Now, I guess most of the people who are interested in what you've got to say are doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, and there's no... So that would be rule number 1, really. Just small things repeated that all make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The next thing that the music industry do appallingly badly, the book industry do appallingly badly, but pretty much every other industry does really well, is they reward people for being customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah? Or they acknowledge that people are customers.
Yeah.
You know? You go and look, I can go and get a tub of butter, and I'll go and get a unique code on a tub of butter, yeah, that gives me something for being a customer.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that might be free books if you sign up to our email list, for example.
Yeah, could be that would be an example. It could be something that says go online and watch a 10-minute video that I'm taking you around the places that inspired this book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for people of your in your world, that's probably a pretty easy thing to do, because probably when you're doing your research, you're probably videoing stuff in any case for your future reference when you're coming to write the book. You know, and what you're going to get there is you're going to get a whole bunch of people outside of that 5%, and you might only get 10% of the people who read the book doing that. Yeah, but that's double where you were.
Right. Okay.
And then when you do your emails out to people, make sure that you A/B it. You know, hey, here's my latest information on my book. By the way, if you've already got it, you can go and do this.
Mm. And it's not only when we have something to sell, right? No,
that's the point. It's not. It's got to be just a constant reiteration. Because I think one of the challenges in the streaming world and the ebook world and those things is that it's not spiked anymore.
Mm.
You know, there'll be an event that happens in 2 years' time that causes something to sell, which 10 years ago it would never have sold. Because the distribution wasn't right for it to be in the shops.
Yeah.
So you've now got to go and look at shows like The X Factor. When they cover an old record, all of a sudden that record gets bought on iTunes.
Yeah.
And it's in the charts for the following week for 4 or 5 days. So it's differentiating that sort of thinking. Yeah, because really all this really is about is thinking differently. Not in like some grand, well, let's all think differently, but more like, we call it punter perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So we always try to go, I'm looking at a web page, I'm looking at an interactive email or an app. What would a punter do?
And punter, just in case people don't understand the term.
A consumer. Just a Joe Blow consumer who doesn't really care. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Like, will they click on this, for example?
Yeah, and what would they expect to happen? Why should they click on that? What would they expect to happen if they click on that? You know, not it looks really great and the picture's great and look at the light shade coming in. Just, you need to forget all of that. But the good news is that on the counter side, if you've not got very much money or you're limited on resources or you're working out all of that, all of the tools to enable you to do it exist.
Yeah.
So when you're doing something, we say, well, put yourself in the position of being a 15-year-old in the bedroom. You know, think how Facebook, think how YouTube, think how all those other things really started. It was someone going, what can I do? Yeah, that solves a problem. So all of your tools are there to enable you to do it. It's not now. That doesn't mean you're going to get success. But it means you're letting the seed happen. When we started our T-shirt business, we sold 3 T-shirts in the first month. And that was 7 years ago. And we've spent £3,000 on above-the-line advertising in that 7 years. And we did about 100,000 garments last year. And that's from a succession of those. Now, some of those little things become big things. Because when you do enough of the little things, you get one that goes big that you don't realise.
Yeah.
You know, so you get a blog that you link to that you don't know in 2 weeks' time that person's going to be massive for some reason. Everyone's going to come to their blog and they're going to be reading the link that you've put about your book. You know, so that's where you're going to do lots of little things that basically add up to one larger thing.
And it's interesting you mentioned T-shirts, because visual marketing seems to be a big thing right now. Like, to stand out, you need images, and of course, T-shirts, book covers. They're kind of, you could say they're yeah. So what is? Can you give us a specific example of the kind of prod you're talking about? The kind of visual marketing you would use for, say, selling a T-shirt or a T-shirt range or a brand?
Visual prod. Yeah,
well,
okay. So one thing we've learned is it's less about the product, yeah, and more about the message in the image. Yeah. So when you first start doing it, you think you've got to show the book cover, or we think, oh, we've got to show the T-shirt, we've got to show the fact that it's sleeves and isn't the hem nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
In reality, the things that work are something that are linked to the T-shirt that arouse people's interest. And get them to then click through, and then they realise it's a T-shirt. You know, very much like, you know, the memes, how they work. We definitely find that every time we do something that has a time limit associated with it, that works every time. Every time we do a perceived pricing offer, you know, sports though. There's a sports store in the UK called Sports Direct, and every time you go into Sports Direct, you'll see the original price and a strike through off it and the new price. Yeah, suppliers are told to deliver their products to Sports Direct with that pricing on it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say the word sale. It doesn't say reduced. It doesn't say discounted. Yeah, it just says old price, strike through, now new price.
New price. Yeah.
They're not breaking any Trade Description Act. They're not misrepresenting anything. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's all perception.
Perception. Yeah? So if you're selling your book for $3.99, yeah? And $9.99 striked out, now $3.99 for this weekend, I bet you'll sell more.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And we do a lot of that price dropping, but the striking out, I get exactly what you mean. And this is actually why many of us do print books as well as ebooks, because Amazon have the discounted price.
Yeah, okay.
This is cheaper.
You have a discounted price on ebooks? Can you not do that?
You can, but it doesn't show as cheaper because it's already changed the price.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that. So then people go also available on the Kindle, and they find it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
You will save this much if you buy on Kindle. So that's why they do it.
Like we did one last week before last, where we thought it's January, it's cold, we'll put sweatshirts £10 off. We sold 20 times as many sweatshirts in a week. We hadn't done it before because sweatshirts, and it has a real dramatic, because everyone likes a bargain, which is by the same reason. We did some work with the Now Music CDs, so they're available globally, I think, Now Music, and they used to have a on the back of their CDs, they used to put sign up to the Now Music mailing list and receive discounts, offers, and all of that. Yeah?
Yeah.
They would get about 0.2% of the people who bought the CDs signed up.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got a piece of technology that recognises if the CD is genuine. It's quite geeky, yeah? But when they change that message to, because you've purchased this CD, go to this website and validate your purchase and we will give you, that sign-up rate went to 5%.
That's really interesting.
And why is that? Because people think, I've paid for that.
Yeah.
I'm due this because I've paid for it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, because we all have email lists.
I'm not being marketed to. I've already paid for it.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's
great.
So
the perception kind of changes in people's heads. So it's really, I think there's enough out there in the real world to understand what triggers you as that punter, as that consumer. And it's very easy to think that when you're doing stuff for your own business that you should be divorced from that.
Yeah, but so it's really learning.
Yeah, it's not really about, some lightning divine inspiration. It's from getting out there. I think one of the problems that it's a sweeping generalisation. One of the problems that we find with creative people is they don't live in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on this show, we're all entrepreneurs as
We're
well.
all entrepreneurs. But, you know, so if you want to understand the people who are going to buy your product, yeah, don't go to the Whole Food deli where you buy your food. Yeah. Get to Sainsbury's or Tesco's or Walmart, or, you know, get to the place where your customers are going to go. You know, make sure you're going there once a month, once every 6 weeks, because that's the messages they're going to see. Those are the things that, you know, and a lot of that gets forgotten as well. You know, hey, it's all really cool and really nice and people should like that. Well, actually, when you go and look at the messages that they respond to, yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's different, you know.
Absolutely. Now, I just want to ask you about the generating more revenue, because you do all of these kind of upsells, shall we call them, or value packs.
Create a digital product that doesn't cost you any money. So now, going back to that 5% of fanatics, yeah, that's where your extra money is. So if they're a fanatic, what do they really want? Yeah, well, they want to buy the book special edition.
The hardback?
Yeah. No, the book special edition. What does that get them? That gets them digital version of... I'm making this up as I go.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So they get a digital version of the book a month before the book's going to be released. Yeah? They get a signed copy of the hardback when it comes out. Yeah? They get exclusive videos on the rundown and the release date telling the stories behind the book, which is basically you talking, explaining what's going on. Yeah? They get included in one of the hardback is a golden ticket. Yeah? That basically gives them an invite to the book launch. Yeah? Or
some kind of
if the book's set in a theme park, you know, or if it's a horror thriller, you know, it gives them a graveyard tour of wherever, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah.
So create that product out of nothing.
And then you can sell that for a higher value.
Double your price, 3 times your price.
And they'll be happy. And actually, Hugh Howey did this, a big fantasy sci-fi writer, with like a thumb drive with all these extras.
Yeah, there you go.
And they did really, really well. So that's brilliant. Now, I'm very mindful of your time. There's one more question I wanted to ask. Because you have so much experience in the music industry, what parallel do you see with the rise of digital music and the digital books and all the changes in the publishing industry?
The larger publishing companies not understanding it. Still, the record companies still don't understand it. You know, and that's not their fault. But people aren't paid the right way. You know, so until people are paid in accordance with the results they've got to generate, you know, only in the last year. So when did the first MP3 file happen? 1995. So we're 18 years. Yeah. All right, 18 years. Yeah, and only in the last year has the largest record company in the world, or maybe last 2 years, started giving its marketing teams direct-to-consumer revenue targets.
Yeah. See, I don't get why publishers...
And they expect it to be a success.
Yeah, publishers should do the same.
How? Yeah. You know, and I see the same in the book industry. You can see them, but they're now doing that like... there's the new... I don't know anyone in the book industry, so, you know...
Yeah.
God knows who's going to look at this, but... You know, so like they're all when I went to Future Book, I noticed they were all looking at the new guy at HarperCollins as being a saviour, because they all quote his name as if they know him, and none of them obviously know him because he's not been there very long, because he's saying something different, and he's probably right. But he's probably right because he's bringing a fresh approach to it. Our understanding at HarperCollins, from what we know, is the people who have got backroom jobs of being asked to understand how they can make money, and they're getting rid of people who don't understand how to make money and bring people in who are thinking about making money.
And what can authors, because my audience are not really in the industry so much as they're authors, what can authors learn from indie musicians who are doing well in this new digital music scene?
You don't really have a lot of tools, do you? Like Bandcamp and things like that, and fan pages. Do those things exist?
Yeah, they are.
Are there book equivalent of those?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
As in, we self-publish direct to Amazon, and we have.
Fine. Okay. Yeah, I think you just got to bore the hell out of people, just keeping on going.
And
I don't think that's really changed. I think you just got to indie musicians are really good at, you know, they're really good at, like, from everything from, you know, getting on mailing lists, you know, walking at a gig and getting people signed up to a mailing list, you know. That, in fact, probably that's a challenge that you've got, really, isn't it? You don't have those other opportunities to go and get out to meet people.
So we do it online.
Yeah, you know, you don't really have that opportunity, do you? How do you go out and meet people who would potentially be in the fans? So what would I learn from them? I would use all the free services that are out there, yeah? So I don't know whether you put audio excerpts of your book on SoundCloud.
Not SoundCloud. It's a good one. Yeah.
But there's a load of indie kids that like your books on SoundCloud. Do you do videos of you reading excerpts of the book on YouTube?
Yeah.
People do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I would probably go and look at those tools where your marketplace congregates. Because obviously each book's going to have a different marketplace. Yeah, and find out the right way to get onto those platforms. Yeah, I would. I'm not sure there's quite a straight comparison because they've got a multifaceted world and relationship with their fans. You know, they can be on the radio, they can be going to a show, people can buy their product. You know, they can do meet and greets.
I think we've got all of them except for live gigs. We're not very good at gigs, but we definitely have all the other type of things. But the other real interesting thing is when the big publishing companies started to kind of change back when MP3 started, were indie musicians as hated as self-publishing or indie authors? As in, we still get a lot of stigmatized kind of response, you know. Whereas it seems that indie musicians are now very
okay, yeah. They hated them, and then about 5 to 10 years after they hated them, they all set up music services divisions to service them.
Yeah, this is what's happening.
Yeah, is it happening now, is it?
It's just starting to happen.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And then what happens is they go through, all right, let me try and remember what happened. They went through that phase. They thought they could automate it all. Yeah, but it can't be automated as much as their vision when they sat and agreed to do it.
Yeah.
And then they get, then they'll start doing, they'll start trying to do bigger deals or direct deals with part of those services, tying in ancillary products. So they'll probably try to, you know, sign the next J.K. Rowling and get all their merchandising deals.
Yep, that's happening. Yeah,
that's happening as well, is it? Yeah, okay.
It definitely is. But the coolest...
And then they abdicate everything to some new platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go through that sort of cycle. Yeah.
Okay, well that's really interesting because I think there is a direct parallel.
So they probably abdicate to Goodreads.
Yeah.
Probably all they're right. Oh, let's get on Goodreads. Yeah, it's like, you know, and then so in fact, actually, what's interesting about the music industry actually is they've abdicated their fan base about 5 times. They did it to MTV, original MTV. Yeah. They did it to MySpace. Yeah. They did it to Facebook. They've done it to YouTube. And they're doing it to Spotify.
Right.
And what they do, they're so misguided. The reason why they abdicate, and this is quote unquote from a telephone call I had yesterday, me, so are the marketing guys still as fixated about these other platforms rather than trying to drive people back to your own website to help generate the D2C revenues. Yes, we need those stats to drive radio play and media attention.
Right. And I just think the parallels are amazing. And the lessons for authors are have your own mailing list, like the indie musicians.
Have your own mailing list. You know, have a sign up forms on your website. Never let it go elsewhere. Always reward those people. Give people incentives to share. Yeah. Make them feel exclusive. Don't just say pass this to a friend. Yeah. Go.
Pass this to a friend.
Here are 5 codes. Yeah. That you can pass to 5 friends to let them come and download, you know, a free book, which is the earlier book that you're giving away as your lost leader. Yeah, and they'll join our mailing list as well. So have a cause and effect with everything that you do, because a glib pass it to a friend You know, who cares? You're not. What I mean by that is, sorry.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's
you're
true.
not. You're not appealing to anything.
We need to be more imaginative. I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah. But
get down in the dirt to where all the people have to work hard for their money.
Yeah.
And they work hard for their money in the supermarkets. You know, it's not much tougher than, you know. Can you imagine how difficult it must be to be the company that's got to get your bread into the leading supermarket? Can you imagine what a tough job that is? Get to those places, I think, and learn and look and learn.
Fantastic. So where can people find you and Push online?
Well, we're very hidden.
Yeah.
We work in an industry of egos. Yeah, and we work with all, you know, so, you know, currently we're working with, you know, from Lady Gaga to Justin Bieber, you know, to YouTube. We work with all of the big brands. So it aids our business to be
exclusive
and subterranean. Yeah, we're like the black door on the street. Yeah, but we do have our website. We've got 2 websites. We've got that sell our t-shirts. Come and have a look. And any authors that want to sell t-shirts, get in contact. Printedbyrobots.com. And shotdeadinthehead.com. Yeah, but that won't go down very well on, you know, in some parts of the world. But printedbyrobots.com.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time, Simon.